It is the spookiest time of the year. Not as spooky for Ten Hag. It's been downright scary. Usually when you knock on the door to trick or treat, you put the candy in the sack. Instead, Ratcliffes handed him the whole sack.
I was like, where are you going with that one? But that was all right.
Wasn't so bad. Ten Hag has been sacked. Man United fans are rejoicing. Other fans, not so much.
So, yeah, I didn't think that the West Ham loss would be the straw that broke the camel's back?
The camel that broke the straw's back?
I didn't think that would be the one. They've had stinkier performances, in my opinion.
100%.
It's weird that this was the one.
If they played that game over 5 times, Man United could have scored 6 goals in each of that game.
We're not going to touch on the game, really. There was a dodgy VAR at the end. Ten Hag apparently disregards the loss. He doesn't acknowledge the loss. Acknowledge the P45, mate.
100%.
Come on.
It's a strange one, isn't it? We'll start sort of maybe talking about the decision-making going into the summer. Obviously, off the back of the Cup win, maybe bought him a little bit extra time, but it bought him a lot of time in the sense that it lasted the whole summer and into the new season. Is that the first mistake?
So,
ignoring the fact that he signed him in the first place.
Ineos came in just before that FA Cup final, didn't they?
And there's a lot of chat.
And there was a lot of chat that he was gone no matter what. And then he won the FA Cup final.
With a good performance.
Good performance, but you could tell Ineos were bottle jobs. That they didn't sack him there and there. Yes, he won the FA Cup. People have won things and then got sacked. That's fine. If he's not the guy for your project, sack him in the summer.
And he leaves on a high.
Leads on a high.
It's not a shiny reward. It's not something you look back on and think those were good times.
Exactly.
But at least you finish with some silverware.
Yeah, fans are happy. A new manager comes in, gets the summer to kind of dictate what they want. Blah blah blah. Instead, they let this dingus spend another 300 million.
His third summer?
Another 300 million in the summer, buying more and more Ten Hag players.
And then they sack him after 10 games?
Yeah, 9-10 games in the Prem.
Mental.
Very silly stuff from Ineos. They brought.
They didn't just not sack him. They gave him a new contract.
So dumb. And then they brought Van Nistelrooy in as his assistant coach who's going to take over. We'll talk about that later on. But yeah.
Do you think in the contract they gave him there was sort of a break clause where it was if we sack you before this point, then the compensation is probably less?
I read somewhere that apparently his compensation package is 13 million, which is disgusting. But yeah, 9 games played in the Prem. They are currently sat in 14th place, 11 points on the board. 3 wins, 2 draws, and 4 losses.
I think they're the third lowest scorers in the league at the minute as well.
So where did it all go wrong for Erik Ten Hag?
Well, if we go all the way back to sort of his Ajax days, which is what put him on the map.
Yeah.
And I was thinking about this on the way here. Ripple effect.
Jeez.
Erik Ten Hag stays at Ajax. Feyenoord maybe don't win the league. Arne Slot never ends up at Liverpool.
So Man United have had a triple ripple of nightmare.
Well, that's the thing.
Because Liverpool got a good manager.
Mm-hmm.
Man United have spent 3 years under this dingus. And now they've got no manager.
Yeah, I don't know, but it's a weird one. But yeah, so he comes in, and obviously everyone knows the Man United job is probably the biggest job in world football.
Biggest job in world football, but a poison chalice.
Poison chalice indeed. It was a crumbling ruins, much like their stadium. Many people had come in, many people had failed. You know, it's not your club, it's just your turn.
Jeez.
But
Man United belongs to the streets.
100%.
She's for the streets.
100%. But yeah, it never really went well, did it? They had one season, I think, where they finished second.
Yeah, we said this third, I think.
Third.
Yeah, Arsenal second, mate. Yeah, but we said this pretty much since we started this podcast. Because it's pretty much the entire Ten Hag era has been this podcast.
Era's end. Era's come to an end.
I haven't, under Ten Hag, seen Man United dominate a game of football.
No.
They look good for parts, but mainly they look terrible.
They look quite good against Barnsley in the FA Cup.
Cheese. And yeah, no style of play, can't dominate a game. And I think that, at its core, is the crux of the issue.
Yes. And then it's not helped by the fact that he was backed heavily. His handling of the media was so unbelievably poor.
And it got worse. Deteriorated.
It's like, you know when you play Football Manager, you accidentally press the wrong button because you're trying to skip through. So you call all your players like just rejects.
Yeah.
You know, it's one of those. every decision that was made seemed to be the wrong one. And throughout his time, there's been issues on and off the pitch with players constantly. From Ronaldo to Harry Maguire to Jadon Sancho, Marcus Rashford,
Mason Greenwood,
Anthony.
Yeah, it's been a nightmare. That,
and
plus injuries as well has been bad.
You can't put that all down to him.
No.
But at the end of the day, when it's been however many years, and I still can't tell what kind of football you're trying to play, after Arne Slot's come in and done 10 games and he's already playing brilliant football.
Yeah.
It's mental.
I think that kind of like exacerbates it, doesn't it? When you see like your biggest rivals lose their version of Sir Alex Ferguson.
Yeah.
And get in a manager pretty quickly and seems to be going okay.
Yeah. But and this is the thing, like United before he came in were a fairly bloated team in terms of lots of deadwood players that didn't want to be there, players that shouldn't be there, aren't good enough, big wages, they've spent a lot of money, and he's left and they've still got the same problem.
It's exactly
they've still got the same problem. They spent 70 million on Casemiro, 95 million on Anthony, 73 million on Højlund. They've spent so much money.
Dumb money.
They spent, like you said, 300 million this summer. It's mental.
And I've got a little stat here. So, where was it? Defenders under Ten Hag. We think defensively they are absolutely shoddy. They've spent 260 million on defenders since this geezer.
Is that including Onana as well, do you reckon?
Yeah, I think so.
Must be.
Maybe not. Nah, yeah, probably. But yeah, that's second highest only to Chelsea, who we won't even talk about because they're like fees and...
They have about 600 million players.
So. But 260 million on defenders, and they are the second worst team in the league for shots faced.
Mental.
So the money they're spending is not smart money, it's dumb money. And maybe Ineos coming in will fix it.
One of their defensive signings actually worked out?
Malacia, non-existent. De Ligt, still...
It's kind of too soon, but it's not been impressive.
Not been a good start. Martinez, injury-prone and bit shit.
Not good enough.
But probably the best of a bad bunch. Who else is there?
Mazraoui. Too soon. I think he's been okay.
Yeah.
But nothing special.
It's not
Lenny
good.
Yoro's obviously been injured.
Yeah. It's bad. There's no good sign in there.
I mean, when Johnny Evans is coming out of matches with Player of the Match awards, it goes to show, doesn't it?
So when he first arrived, I don't think he was that bad. They got some good results, and I thought he could be the guy. Their point average in his first 20 games in charge was between 2 and 3. It floated up and down around 2.5 points per game.
Which is good.
Which is good points per game.
Very good.
Now, in his last 20 games, we're flirting between 1 and 1.5 points per game.
Which is relegation.
That is so bad. So he's dropped a whole points per game in his time involved, in charge. It just goes to show that, like, good managers develop, bring players in, the squad just gets better. I don't want to liken it to Arteta, but you can see in his time in charge, the trajectory has been positive.
And he's also brought in bit part players or players who've underperformed at other clubs, or maybe not star names, and developed them.
But the trajectory is just downwards.
The only players that I can really think who've benefited from Ten Hag are Kobe Mainoo and Garnacho. And that's pretty much it.
Yeah, he's just had so many kind of like fractious relationships as well, like this whole Marcus Rashford situation where he's in and out of the team, and then
Jadon Sancho,
the whole situation is bad, and then I think as those wingers, you look at him signing Anthony, and Anthony being as shit as he is, and you think this guy's clueless,
absolutely clueless. And why would you ever want to play for a manager like that? It's been poor, and this season has only gone to show that he's not the right man.
He's not.
But is it a good thing that they gave him all this time? They were quite patient with him, or
well, like you said, the problems are still there, so you might as well just switch him out and get a new guy in if the problems.
I think after last season, it was clear at that point. This is not the guy. This is not the guy. I gave him a lot of credit by putting them in, what was it, 4th or 3rd?
Yeah.
Maybe he may not have done me a favour because they might get in on an absolute...
Yeah, I was going to say, you could do a nightmare.
Yeah.
Madness now.
But, yeah, I don't know. It's all a bit strange. It's all a bit spooky. The unknowns are unknown.
So, let's talk about the future then.
The future could be positive.
So, I've seen one of the big names say that they missed a trick with Thomas Tuchel.
100%.
And now, favourite, I think, is Gareth Southgate, bookies odds, which is a bit mental.
Yeah, ignoring Rude.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which I think...
So they'll give Ruud van Nistelrooy a couple games. I think there's a lot of conspiracy. Maybe they brought him in because they knew that this was like a contingency plan. But apparently Ten Hag was the one who called him and brought him in. So I don't know. But they'll probably give him a little go, maybe a few games, see how it goes.
Yeah.
But realistically, you need to bring in someone who is proven.
You need, I hate the word, but you need aura. Because this club is toxic. The players are toxic. The fans are toxic. The new owners, I don't know. But you need someone that, whether times are tough, when, like right now, you're in 14th place. You need someone that's going to come in, just immediately just demand, like, levels.
Roy Keane.
No, now that he's doing all that business with the overlap and all that, he's a laughing stock.
Yeah, I think...
You need someone...
You don't need an ex-player. You need just...
You need Zinedine Zidane.
Is that who you tell?
That's who if I was a Man United fan, would be screaming for.
Yeah,
I don't think it'll happen.
I think so, but is it too big a project for Zidane? Like, because this goes deep.
This goes deep.
This isn't just putting out the best 11 and being a good manager, being an intense manager. This goes deep. This is to your backroom staff, all the way down to the dinner lady.
It's true.
It's mental.
Who would you tell?
My go-to would be Thomas Frank.
That would be mine. If I was to pick like a non-exciting big name, Thomas Frank.
Don't think it's even non-exciting.
Oh, yeah.
I think the Germans are well-renowned for being able to create well-oiled machines. Titans of industry.
Jeez.
And that's what they need.
Ursprung du Technik.
They need some German engineering in that facility.
Yeah, no, I don't hate it. I touted him for Spurs when they sacked Big Ange.
I think
why not do
he's
Man
done
United?
so well with so little at Brentford. I mean, they're doing quite well even still after the loss of Ivan Toney. They basically didn't have him for half last season.
Yeah.
And I don't think his style of football is such a massive turnaround from what Ten Hag was trying to do.
No, it's kind of the style that Man United fans probably want.
It's not very direct attacking, but it's efficient.
Yeah, it's...
You know, and I think he's the one that I would like to see. I think he handles the media well. I think he can get the most out of players. And I think he's someone who, unlike Ten Hag, puts an arm round the player and helps them. If they're not playing well, he's not going to keep overplaying them. He's going to find out why is it not working well. How can I get the best out of you?
Facts.
He gets the best out of his players all the time. And he's been through difficult periods because we know the sort of injury crisis that Brentford had last season.
He plays naughty little free at the back as well, which could be good for Man United.
Exactly.
Because Man United got no fullbacks that are good.
But
and too many centre-backs.
Yeah.
So
maybe, for me, he's the one that I
I like him as a I like him as a shout.
They're looking at Nagelsmann, maybe. I'm not too mad about
Apparently
that.
Buying him out of his German contract is going to be expensive, so I don't know, but
yeah,
I like him as an option.
Thomas Frank's probably the most realistic one for me. I think
Xavi.
Xavi? Don't think it's going to work.
He said he wanted to manage in England one day.
But Man United's a big step up.
He didn't actually... well, obviously Barcelona right now thump Real Madrid 4-0, looking really good under Hansi Flick. But I don't think Xavi's Barcelona were that bad. They won the league. They won the Supercopa, I think. I don't think he had that bad a time in Spain. I think
maybe not.
Ended
maybe
a bit
not.
ugly, but
I think...
I hate that as a shout.
Yeah, other names, I've heard Xabi Alonso. That's not going to happen. Yeah, maybe you're looking at Kieran McKenna.
Kieran McKenna's not a bad shout.
Michael Carrick. Is that a underwhelming?
We said that on the pod, didn't we? That like you want like an ex-player that kind of has that kind of aura. I don't know if Michael Carrick
got it.
Does, but he probably got the most out of like all that kind of class of '97 that are good.
He's the most like managerial.
Yeah, because you're looking at like Rooney and Becks, but they're not
like
doing
gigs.
They're not doing anything important. So
no, I think maybe you're looking. Maybe like Ruben Amorim, maybe.
Yeah,
something like that. Allegri's on the market, I think.
Or Inzaghi from Inter Milan. It's not
but
a bad
those
shout.
These are. I don't think that's what they need.
Man United fans, let us know in the comments down below. Who would you like to see replace Erik Ten Hag in the Man United dugout?
Will it be a trick or will it be a treat?
Spooky times.
It's very spooky times. Erik Ten Hag, Erik Ten Hag.
Good. Nice.